Hello there, and welcome to episode 10 of my tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. In this one, we're going to talk a little bit more about luxury. So, in the last couple of episodes, we have set up a pretty nice basic home for all of our dwarfs. We're still in the process of moving our workshops from one level to another, but all in all, the average Joe, so to say, is going to be absolutely satisfied. But in the long run, we want more than that. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we can set up really luxurious environments and do a little bit of a research what we can tweak and improve there. So we're going to revisit the jeweler today a little bit and give him a bit of a more specialized operational area here. Going to show you a couple of things. And, well, clothing. Yes, clothing. That was the other thing that I wanted to do there as well. Because we have now the cloth industry up and running. We do have our pigtails in production and all, but there's more behind the clothier's shop than just making bags there. So we're going to make sure that our dwarfs will stay in fashion, but more about that a bit later. It's actually not that much. So right now, the majority of our dwarfs is busy smoothing and detailing here. Detailing your areas is really a darned cheap way of increasing the value. I have already mentioned that in the last episode, but I want to repeat that because it's so really powerful. I also want to feature that when we mouse over there, you see that there's a couple of things here. There's a plus in front of the detailed, and there's a minus. And whenever there's such a kind of a addition to your crafts, that's a that's a hint to a higher quality craft. So right now we have configured it in a way that only that every dwarf in the city is allowed to do some part-time engraving. But in general, when we're playing Dwarf Fortress, specialization is absolutely worth it. So what we're going to do here is we get on over to the engravers, and we're going to make sure that we have here, let's say, 4 people, and only the selected dwarves will do these jobs. So we put a halt to this part-time engraving business, because at the end of the day, this does make a huge difference in terms of the value of your walls. And that's something, well, I always feel like it's worth it in this game to specialize your dwarves in that regard. And that's why we're doing it. So besides that, when you have changed that setting here in the labor menu, it also stops your dwarfs from focusing only and really only into engraving. So only a couple of people will do that, and I personally like that. So this level of apartments here is pretty much, well, there's not that much more we can do. Well, there is a bit, but all in all, if you want to set up really luxurious quarters, I would say these here are just not killing it. Why is that so? Well, because of the environment. The environment here is just not what we're looking for, and therefore we're going to make sure that we create something better one level downstairs. So first of all, I'm going to rebuild the jeweler up here, down here, I'm sorry. And now we're going to start working on our environment here a little bit. So first of all, I'm going to carve out larger portions here. What we're building here will be absolute luxury compartments. So these will be bedrooms at the end of the day that you won't be assigning to everybody. You'll be hand assigning them to the nobles that will ultimately haunt your dwarven society. Because at the end of the day, you will have dwarfs that have pretty high demands. And right now, everything is super easy. We're pretty much on the easy side. We're just waiting for our smithies to finish all of these requests for gear. Let's see. The metalsmith has finally been set up there as well, so we can now move downstairs with that too. And, well, this is all a work in progress, but my experiences with Dwarf Fortress have shown me one thing. It's practically always worth it to try and keep one step ahead of your progression. Because if you don't, the progression will be upon you, and most of the time your dwarfs will get into trouble while they're being progressed upon, so to say. So, jokes aside, what we're opening up here is, you might have already guessed it, the foundation for an environment that we're going to build on up. Here I have already gave you a example up here of silver walls and the like, but we're going to take it a tad bit further here. But to do so, we actually need to carve out more precious metals. So I don't want to go for this area here. We have a lot of gemstones in that area there. No. I want to carve out a little bit deeper into the dolomite layers because we happen to need a lot more flux stone. Right now, I'm also not bringing up any steel equipment as of yet, due to the simple reason that I want to give my crafts dwarfs a bit of a practicing time before we let them loose on the other stuff. So we struck cassiterite. Cassiterite is interesting. Let's check it out. We have this, and cassiterite is a tin ore. As far as I remember, we already had copper as well, so we can do some alloying there too. Great. But that's something we're not going to do that during this episode. Yes, we got that. Awesome. But, well, that was not actually what I'm looking for. Right now, I'm most eager looking for gold, platinum, maybe aluminum. That would be also quite nice. But seriously, the easiest way would be gold or platinum to satisfy our needs. But not always will you get what you crave for that easily. And we're basically now looking to find the most valuable materials that we can get our hands on. Because at the end of the day, your dwarfs are easily impressed by money. So the more valuable the environment, the more impressed your dwarfs will be. Therefore, we want a material that's going to be as valuable as possible. And check this out, there's the migrants coming. It's quite often like that after a relative short amount of time. There's a lot of immigration happening all at once, while you were stranded with no people at all for a while. And that's a great example for why it's really important to stay on top of your progression, you know. So we have a petition. The circle members in Circle Boots want a guild hall for the farmers. We definitely will approve this request. So we have our first petition now. So what are we going to do about that? They want a guild hall, a established guild hall. I agree. I approve. No problem. So we're going to bring up that guild hall. Well, let's see. Probably here. Why not? Guild halls have to be at least 30 grids inside, or 25. I prefer 30. But, well, you have 1 year time to satisfy those requests, so we got to keep that now in our mind. So I'm slapping down more beds because we want to stay on top of our immigrations here. And there's you know, one of the worst things that could happen to your city is that you run out of sleeping rooms for a longer period of time. Your newcomers, they don't care if there's a while-ish a shortage. Oh, let's see. But the longer there's no bedrooms for them, the more pissed they will grow. So the earlier you get that done, the easier you will be able to handle that fallout. All right, we're prevented in the first place. And so as you see here, we have for the first time more work than we got workers, and all those mining jobs are not getting done in my taste quick enough. So since we got so many people here migrating into town, we might as well announce one of these people here as a new mining dwarf. Never hurts to get fresh blood into the colony. There we go. There's some hematite in the wall. That's not what we're looking for. It can sometimes take a while for you to get the stuff that you want, so that's totally fine if we delay that a bit. So we have struck tetrahedrite. Now we're talking good news. So let's see. Do I have a tetrahedrite smelting job online? So we will henceforth stop smelting our metals just as we see them, because there's not that much of a necessity, except for limonite and magnetite. That's totally okay. But when it comes down to alloying, I don't want to smelt everything immediately. Kaolinite, that sounds like a regular stone. I don't know. If you're ever wondering, you just here, kaolinite. We can make clay out of that. Wonderful. So I didn't even know. Good. We get those materials, so probably we're going to do something different than I thought originally. Let's see. I got cassiterite. Cassiterite is a tin ore, so let's make some bronze. How about that? Or what can we alloy beyond that? One good thing is, whenever you have the materials you require, the game will show you immediately what you can make and what you can't make. Fine pewter, yeah, well, why not? So let's make some fine computers. Yeah, well, I cannot help myself. I'm easily captivated by bad puns. Anyways, so we're still waiting for the jeweler's workshop to be finished here. So we're going to get up there and stop the jeweler from doing whatever he's been doing up here. So here we go. So I want to introduce to you a more specialized and efficient version of the jeweler, so to say. So we're going to remove all these and rebuild it down there. So similar concept. We're going to store our gemstones over here. There goes all the gemstone. And we're going to pick up from every stockpile that could possibly end up with gemstone. So let's see. I think I got everyone. And that's not the big change. The bigger change is going to be that we're setting up a area here where we're going to go for furniture. And here we activate all of these, but now we get on over to the qualities and we exclude the standard and well-crafted qualities. So this, if it works out as intended, we're going to receive in this stockpile all the well-made crafts that happen to be here. So there we go. There we go. There's a coffer. So basically, I don't want chests and let's see. I don't want boxes, bins, barrels. I want to get no containers whatsoever in here that can't go into rooms right now. So we're not interested in floodgates, catapult parts, not buckets either. Oh, well, not grates, not hatch covers, not food storage, not mechanisms, not millstones, mine carts, no pipes sections, sandbags. So we just leave open those items that will be decorated in our buildings. So I think this should leave me with the items that I want to have. So here we go. Let's check out how that works. So the only thing we're now waiting for is that the jeweler's workshop is finally getting built. I don't know what takes there so long, but it surely took that long. Let's redo that construction job. Maybe they need a shove. Usually they don't, but what do I? All right. So this version of the jeweler, whenever it's being set up, will have now the option to access only the best items in our entire city and only the items that I want to use as furniture. This is a pretty easy way of manipulating your jeweler into a type of work that's more beneficial to you. So let's see. Our dudes are making the pewter bars. Here I'm preferring the ore recipe simply because ore recipes are way more efficient than the bar recipes, because here we're smelting 4 times as much pewter with just 1 unit of coke as we would when we'd be using bars. As you see there, we created 16 fine pewter bars. So fine pewter is quite valuable. This is a really, really good item to use for our endeavors here, because we're on a mission here, as you all know. So what up with a petition? Somebody wants to eradicate monsters here. No military simulation yet. Sorry, boys. We're on a tutorial mission here, one thing at a time. So the first thing that I want to do now is, of course, I'm going to build with that stuff. So obviously we got to wait until everything is stored. But this is a really nice way of using cassiterite here in this regard. Of course, it's not the only way. You could now argue with me that it would have been probably smarter to transfer that into crafts where we'd be actually getting even more value out of that. But since I want to set up a luxurious home for today, that came just right around the corner for me. So these fine pewter walls, the fun part about them is we can't even engrave them again. So this is so much better than a rock wall, because a wall made out of shale or any other standard rock will be worth 2 dwarf bucks. And we saw that 1 pewter bar is worth 25 dwarf bucks. Many of the enhancers that you put on these buildings, they don't add a value. They multiply values. Not all of them. I don't know if engraving is actually working like that, but for example, if you put a jeweler's work on an item, it multiplies the value. Here in this environment, I'm not really sure. I think we're just increasing the value of the pewter bars, but nevertheless, this is one hell of an upgrade for our situation here. And we have an artifact mood. Let's check on out what will happen there. So he's taken up the crafts dwarf's workshop. And now we just have to wait and see what our crafts dwarf will do there. Why is there nothing being stored in here? So yeah. This happened because at the finished goods stockpile, you have to specify materials, otherwise it doesn't work. The easiest way here will be to just tell this thing to store, let's see, rings. Let's make that our ring stockpile. Why not? Here we go. So now the rings will be finally stored in there. Meanwhile, our crafts dwarf is, let's see what he's going to be doing. We will be able to see that once the hauling has been taken. So whenever it starts here, works furiously, you're usually in the clear. Your dwarfs will be in trouble if they don't manage to have the materials they require for that. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to go over the clothing real quick, but that's really something that is quickly covered as soon as we have passed that saving screen of doom. Well, this game is very detail heavy, therefore we have really long saving screens, but gosh. Well, so there we go, finally. Here at the clothier's shop, it's the same thing as we had before. And here we will go over a quick setup there. I'll be setting it up like that. We get on over to the clothier's shop and going over cloth. I'm going to go and make it as simple as possible. We're going to make one piece of headgear, and we're going to go here again for the availability check. We want at all times, let's say 3 caps available, and then we produce that. I'm paying attention while doing this to, let's see, here, address. I want to get every equipment slot covered at least once, so to say. So we have a steady surplus of these items. So gloves, why not? And the more of these different items you got in your fortress, the happier your dwarfs will be. So it's really worth it. And all in all, you can also sell these items if you'd really want to. So we're not going to go for a mitten, for example, because we have already the glove. I will, although, go for a robe because a dress sounds for me like the female version. I gotta admit, I have not dug deep into the clothing system of Dwarf Fortress yet, so expect some updates on that thing in the future. So we're going to make some shirts. I personally want to just make sure that now in the long run, there's always going to be some clothing available when one of my baby dwarfs grows up and requires some new suit of clothing, or for whatever reason there might be, my present dwarfs will require some clothing, I guess. There is some sort of deterioration. I must admit, I don't know if items deteriorate here. Don't forget the socks, by the way. There's quality of life things. And yes, the detail level of this game is horrendous, but we're almost through with that. So we got socks, so trousers, and probably vests as well, but I think this is the basics. I'm not going to go for the vests. Basically, there's nothing wrong with providing every single item on that list, because it will only make your dudes happier, but at the same time, pay attention to the available amount of pigtail. If you have ever any shortages, you shouldn't go too crazy here. Okay, so we have now finally got that done, and the jeweler's workshop here is running, and we have dismantled the old one. Perfect. So let's get on over here and let's do this as follows. We're going to set up a work order here and crust furniture with cut gems, and you could now either specify a type of furniture. So, well, no, you can't. Okay, you could specify which gems. I see. Oh, well, good. Then it's exactly as it should be. So we're going to go amount of improvable furnitures that are in bins is greater than 1, and then you go crazy. And we're going to configure it that the workshop will take items from this stockpile and from that stockpile, and this way we're making sure that our jeweler will now only use the furniture from this area here, which is going to be terrific. I don't want my jewelers to decorate low quality items in the first place, and this is so far the easiest way for me that I found to get that done properly. If you know any easier way, please let me know in the comment section. I haven't found one yet. So as you see there, slowly but steadily our military is getting new items. There's still a pretty high amount of missing slots, but that's pretty perfectly normal because your armor production is quite slow. You can speed that up, of course, by providing more smiths and forges. So we have a hematite crown, and it's offered to the halls of laboring. Let's see what that is. We got a list of locations, and it ain't any of ours here, so I really don't know. I guess that might be a temple to be. We'll find out. So I remembered that we had also a request for the farming guild hall, so let's make that happen. Don't forget to fulfill these quests. Also, Churches are, you cannot have too many churches or temples. So if you ever happen to have a bit of a grumpiness happening, just check out what gods they want to worship, and you can really make your dudes a little bit happier. And let's see, what was the request again? Er, so now I forgot where to look for these requests. Got to check that out later. Well, I'm sorry about that. I think it was the farmer's thing. So, problem here is that everything is named so similar. So if I'm going to place down something wrong, I'm pretty sure somebody in the comment section will notice that. But the farmer hall sounds pretty right. Let's see if we have anything else. But I think that was the case. Yeah, so 10 people working in there, that sounds like exactly the kind of thing that we want to have. And here it is again, we want to increase the value of this place. And for this scenario, it's really useful to have one or two jewelers like these set up like I have them here. So I'm setting up a second one there because I really want to speed up the process. And well, that pewter we've used down there. Let's create ourselves a new home of magnificence. So here I'm waiting now until one of these doors that we have in our stockpiles is of a particularly high quality, so it gets decorated by our crafts dwarfs. I won't be using regular furniture for this regard. So what we're looking for, I'm going to show you once it shows up. I'm pretty sure we will. This topic will haunt us for more than just this one episode, I guess. But that's okay. So our jewelers are now busy working on over here. Right now he's just cutting all the gemstones that we had in our storage, but it's really good to have that many gemstones available. I just am a little bit baffled about the fact that we're not storing them in there. So please give your items also too. So I'm really confused that our gemstones aren't stored here. But well, did I forget to dismantle something up there? I'm sorry about the slightly chaotic circumstances here, but no, I've removed all that. So the whole topic of stockpiles in this game is sometimes really beyond me. So if you know why my dwarf is unwilling to store his cut gems in there, please let me know, because I will have to research that. Because basically, the gem stockpile here is here for him. Cut stone, cut gem, it's all there. Well, anywho. So we have so far only one masterfully made chair here, but that's okay. Let's check on out what happened down there. Our dudes have seemed to found a lot of things. So a caravan has arrived. Wonderful. So we have talc down here. We have some tiger eye. We got a huge thing here happening. So in that regard, it's really important that we're going to slap up a wall right there. You know, right there. I'm closing this off because here again, this leads to the cavernous regions of this place, and there are flying monsters, and I don't like security issues like these, so we're walling it off right away, so that problem is not a problem anymore. Okay, so I'd say that that's a good start for now. Sadly, I haven't finished enough items to get ourselves this insane room here a little bit furnitured, but whatever, it's going to be grand. So let's see. Up here, we're now basically just waiting for better furniture to be done, and the easiest way to get that done is by using the weaker furniture in the other rooms and wait until something grand is produced. Anyways, so I thank you all really a lot for watching. We're going to continue into that topic in the next episode. I hope you found it again helpful as the last times. We are right now hitting a spot where development of the fortress is a little bit slower, and where we also can decide a lot for ourselves where we're going to head ourselves towards to. So feel free to leave me a comment if you want to see a certain part of the game deeper explored. Feel free to leave a thumbs up and a subscription on the channel. I'd be delighted if you'd also check out the description box. There's a playlist link down there, and also links to supporting this channel. And a big thanks to all the supporters out there, and also a big thanks to you watching this video up until this very last part. You crazy. Thank you, and see you next time.